Hello! Before we begin, I have a short disclaimer. Listening to the mad chatters is bad for your sanity. We are not sane. We do not have any skill with a musical instrument, so the only sound you will hear is our voices. We are also neither wizards or breweries. We cannot conjure fire, nor can we conjure a refreshing beverage. As a result of the fact that we are also neither telepaths or gods, our voices will only reach those of you still sitting and listening. We hope that our upcoming conversation does not drive you snooker loopy. However, since we are not sane, we can guarantee none of these things. Thank you, and enjoy.
Dun, dun, dun!
Hello, I'm Dr. Wheatley, here with my good pal and co-host.
Wait a second, since when did I become the co-host?
Hey, you are a co-host. So am I.
I think I need to write down some actual rules for the co-host on this show, ladies and gentlemen.
Sure thing.
Number one, I'm the host.
Yeah, you're a host, and you co-host with me.
Remind me to write his death sentence after this, ladies and gentlemen, please.
Oh, please. It's not going to happen. You know that.
I can dream, can't I?
You can dream.
Hang on a second. I'm picturing this vivid imagination of me putting your head in an English... Oh, what do they call those things where they chop your head off?
Guillotine? That's French.
That's it?
That's French.
Oh, well, there you go. French guillotine, then. So my history's a little rusty.
Yeah.
But instead of a razor-sharp blade, you know what it'll be?
Is it going to be a
pan to the face?
A pan to the face. Well, it's considerably better than what I had dreamed of.
Arrow to the knee?
No. I was imagining you were going to put me in a slightly different version of an Iron Maiden. Are you familiar with Iron Maidens are?
Yeah, I know what they are.
Yeah, I was imagining you were going to put me in a slightly different version of an Iron Maiden, except that instead of being full of spikes, it's full of speakers that continually spout Rainbow Dash saying 20% cooler.
Now, why didn't I think of that?
See, this is the thing. You need to be completely mad. Also, you need to usurp the person who's beside you.
Well, of course. I abuse you every week.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm a natural at it.
Ah, well.
Quick, give me something to abuse you with. I can't think right now.
I can give you a Boston Basher, but you got to be careful. If you swing and miss, you'll hit yourself with it.
Ooh, that will make me holy. Blessed by God. Even more better to smash you again with the second time round.
Sorry, no, I've just got this image of a Boston Basher being wielded by the wolf that's dressed up as Grandma.
Ugh.
The better to hit you with, my dear.
Yeah, but the only problem is if he huffs and puffs and misses, he's going to blow all the air right out of himself.
No, that does tend to happen, because what he actually does is, not many people know this, but in the actual fairy tale, he does eat. He eats Little Red Riding Hood, and they claim that the huntsman comes along and, cuts his belly open with a fire axe while he's sleeping, and somehow he doesn't notice. But what actually happens is he sees the huntsman coming into his house, tries to chase him off, swings the Boston Basher at him, hits himself, cuts open his own stomach, and Alice legs.
I was actually thinking that when you started that. I was thinking that.
Yeah. On a related note, I did accidentally say Alice instead of Little Red there, so my apologies. I'm sure that Little Miss Wonderland is probably a little bit peeved at me right now.
She's probably off at our tea party.
Delicious, delicious tea party. And we still haven't explained to James how to get there.
Anyway, this is Loopy and Wheatley, and we've got a stack load for you this week. We're introducing some new segments, plus a crap load of news. We've got a busy schedule this week, don't we?
Oh, it's absolutely insane. I took one look at this Google document and thought, yes, let's do this.
What, it's actually full of stuff for once.
Yeah, I know.
Loopy's actually gotten organised for a change.
I'm sitting here going, oh my god, we almost have 3 pages.
Almost.
Well, we do. It's technically...
Well, hang on a second. Just let me spam the enter button and we'll have 3 pages. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's an idea. You can always just put double spacing.
Yeah! See, it makes it look more technical too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
That way I can be technically correct.
Technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get right into the news. And if you haven't heard, Solar is going to celebrate his own birthday this weekend.
Happy birthday, Solar! We love you!
We do?
Well, I do.
Oh, okay. Well, I do too. I like sucking up the Solar. Yay!
Delicious.
Okay, I'm his friend. I don't like sucking up to him. Shit, how long am I going to demoralize myself here? Ooh.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about it too much. I, for one, have no shame in admitting that if I saw Solar in the street, I would run up and give him gigantic man hugs.
Ah, okay.
But then again, I do tend to give everything I see man hugs if it looks at me in the right way.
Well, then again, both of us gave up our dignity when we started doing the show, didn't we?
Dignity? What?
Yeah, exactly. If you wish to join in the celebrations, Solar has told me, I don't know what he's doing, but he just said to be on the servers from 12 noon Saturday.
It's a mystery. Woo!
Wait, maybe we can get Scooby to figure it out. Yeah, I'll give you a Scooby snack.
Oh,
yeah.
God. Please, no. I don't want that stoner friend of his hanging out near me. I'm going to punch him in the nutsack.
What, Raggy?
Right? Ugh.
Well, that's how Scooby says it.
I know, I just realised that halfway through. Honestly, I have nothing but respect for those people who did the animated series of the Clone Wars, you know, the original 2D animated series of the Clone Wars, because during General Grievous's introductory scene, they specifically created a Jedi to look like Shaggy, who they called Shaggy, and they killed him. They killed him in the most brutal way they could think of because they hated the character so much.
Oh, but I reckon Shaggy's an awesome character.
No way. Seeing him get murdered by General Grievous was absolute bliss for my heart.
Oh, you evil, evil, evil person.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it so much. And to be fair, I did like Scooby-Doo. I mean, let's be honest, you know, underneath that big puffy jumper, we all know that Velma was a demon in the sack. Indeed.
Wait. Does that mean Freddy's not cool?
Freddy did wear... What the...
Well, he never got any girls in the end, did he?
Indeed. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah?
Sorry, I had to mute my microphone there so I could barf up part of my lung. But as for Freddy, well, I'm not entirely certain, but I can tell you right now that there was one part of his attire which just got to me, which is... Call me old-fashioned, but a man wearing orange, terrible ascot just looks bad to me.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, before we get too caught up, we do have a lot to do, so we will move on.
Moving on.
Are you familiar with all the new updates to the Hail servers?
I am not familiar with the new updates to the Hail servers, but
I'll do this.
I've seen bits and pieces of them, but not the whole thing.
I'll do this announcement then, because we have a stack load of new features if you haven't been on the Hail servers in the last few weeks, or even the last few days, actually. We've got they've got new alternative bosses for some of the Hails. We've got new maps, and we've also got new. They've got a few new unusual abilities. There's new mechanics, so you've got to go and check it out. But a few of my favourite things is they've got a new map called something 52. I can't remember, and it's a really everyone hated it at first, but people are starting to grow on it a bit. It's a bit of a scout map because it's a really big runaround map. So I might advise you if you're going to be Hail on the map, pick something with a bit of mobility like Dash. And my favourite update is all Cutie Mark Crusaders and alternative bosses for Rainbow Dash, Applejack, and Rarity. Yay! And I've got sparkling of all of them.
Ah, the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Good
Lord.
Lord.
But you want to know something really cool about that? Guess what Sweetie Belle's rage music is?
What?
Hush now, quiet now, time to lay your sleepy head.
You know what? I've got to be completely honest. And I know this is probably sacrilege amongst brony communities, but I really, really, really don't like the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Like, I think their idea is alright, and their introductory episode was okay, and at first they were kind of adorable, but they are the worst kind of characters, ones who are painfully stupid. Ones who... I know it's because they're young and they're supposed to be completely oblivious to things and totally lacking in common sense, but how hard is it to learn that lesson? It's the most basic thing in the entire universe, and they don't get it. Ah!
What, that their gifts are right in front of them?
Exactly. Not just that their gifts are right in front of them, but they don't need to force it. They just need to let it happen naturally. They're wasting so much of their time on this.
You're probably going to hate me for saying this, but minus Pinkie Pie and a little bit of Rarity, the Cutie Mark Crusaders are actually my second favourite bunch of ponies, after Pinkie Pie.
I just can't stand them, I honestly can't.
I love Cutie Mark Crusader episodes. My favourite episode actually is a Cutie Mark Crusader episode.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely certain what my favourite episode would be, in all honesty. I really couldn't tell you.
Mine's that Sisterhood Social one where Rarity and Sweetie Belle have a big fight.
That is a good episode, I'll grant you. It's got some good family dynamic going on in that one, but...
That's my favourite episode and still is.
Well,
Anyway.
I'll have to think about it. In fact, you know what? I'm going to think about what my favourite episode is after a little while, and if somebody manages to actually guess, and I'm only going to let it happen before next week, because otherwise, screw that. You can have the ongoing competition all you like, but if somebody actually manages to guess my favourite episode before I do, and it will be announced next week, then, yeah, I'll give them a prize or something in Team Fortress. Some kind of...
Ooh, you heard it here first. Do I get to guess?
You can, if you want, but I still have no idea what it is. So I will have decided by the end of the weekend, because I'm going to go back and rewatch some of them.
Ooh, I like that idea. Anyway, since you're the one that brought this up last week, you have honours for this bit of news?
Indeed. The Portal 2 community test chamber creation thing, which I told you, we told you about last week. Well, it's now up and running. The DLC has been officially released. You can get it, and the thing is, it is free. So if you already own Portal 2, then Shazam, get to making stuff. And we here at Oz Radio wish to celebrate this with you fine folks out there. Remember how we were originally deciding on some stuff that we might be able to do in Minecraft? Well, while we get that all figured out, we challenge you in Portal 2 to make us a test chamber. Something for us to try out and, make us crack, basically.
Yeah,
if you can trick both of us enough to the point where we actually feel that your test chamber is suitably brilliant/insidious, then we will not only feature your chamber on the show and share it for all to see, but you might possibly yourself actually get invited on as a guest star at some point.
Yeah, if you wish to check out the Google document or the forums, there's a link on the Google Doc to the actual competition parameters on the forums.
It's going to be quite brilliant indeed.
Yes, and for all those who keep bugging me to get on the show, here's your chance. Because I get people every week bugging me to be on the show. And Def, if you bug me one more time, I'm going to cancel you from this competition.
Please. Oh, that was a mistake. Excuse me one moment.
Din, 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 din.
Edited out there by my own mute function. The sound of Wheatley barfing up another lung.
Wait, do you have any left? And what do you got? 3 lungs?
Please, I'm like Zoidberg. I've got an infinite number of unnecessary backup organs.
Wish I had that.
And for those of you who are wondering why I'm so sick, it's because on Sunday night I had an open mic night which I attended, which was all lovely, good times were had by all, but I foolishly parked a long way away, and it wasn't until about 1 o'clock in the morning when it was getting quite close to 0 degrees that I actually had to be able to walk home. So by the time I walked back to my car, yeah, I was pretty cold by that point, and I've been sick all week as a result. On the upside, though, it did give me to have quite a good spectacle while I was running through the mostly deserted streets of my city wearing a trench coat so that it was billowing out behind me like I was in the Matrix or something.
Well, I thought you were just a crappy detective in a trench coat.
No, crappy detectives wear brown.
Good point.
Or tweed. By the way, that is one of my favourite words to say. There are some words that are just fun to say, and tweed is one of them for me.
Anyway, the next bit of news is also yours, because I'll be covering the last bit.
Absolutely. Super Monday Night Combat is now live and free to play, so why aren't you playing it? I mean, I can understand that you're not playing it right now because listening to us takes priority over everything, including basic bodily functions. But on the time when you're not playing this, you should really be playing Super Monday Night Combat, because as a fan of the original, I can say it's quite a lot of fun.
It is. You played this new one yet?
I've only played it very, very briefly. I have had some fun with it, but again, I've just been crazy busy with a whole bunch of other things that I've got to get done.
You're probably going to hate me for saying this, but I was involved in the betas, and guess what I bought myself in that game?
What?
I bought myself Mega Beth, or as some of them refer to, Mega Beep. I'll let everyone else discover all that for themselves. But I bought the costume. I bought a gold version of that angel costume, the really revealing one.
I do not, but I suppose I'll have to take a look at some point.
Well, let's just say I'm now even more of a bitch.
Oh, fantastic!
Yay! So I'm going to dub myself Troll Beth in this one.
Oh, goody! Because that's what the world needs, more trolls.
Yep. You got a problem with trolls? Pay the toll.
Look, if it was a nice, friendly troll who tried to murder me while I was crossing his bridge, I'd let him have it. He can be the trolliest troll who ever trolled.
That's basically me. I'm a friendly troll.
It's when trolls invade my video games, invade my free space and my free time. It's when trolls try and run for politics. That's when I start to have a bit of an issue with trolls.
Anyway, we'll get on that. That's kind of getting onto the weekly rant bit, but we'll cover that a little later.
Oh, God.
Anyway, our last bit of major news. If you're a My Little Pony fan and also a fan of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the clever little designers down at Equestrian Dreams have made a demo release of the game My Little Investigations. Now, I've had a go at this myself, and the demo goes for quite a bit, and it's actually quite fun. You get to run around as a pony and solve missions, you pick up evidence, you do the whole, take that, and you do the whole, you question people, you get evidence to prove stuff. It's quite good. It's just like a Phoenix Wright game, except you get to physically walk around places now. And I've been actually keeping up with it, and they're adding new mechanics like friends mechanics. So like you can actually have friends help you with different skills. So if you need to bully someone a bit, you get Rainbow Dash. If you need to give someone a bit of kindness, you get Fluttershy. It's actually quite intriguing. So if you want to know more about it or try the download for yourself, the link's in the document to the Equestrian Dreamers website, and you can have a go for yourself.
I must admit, it does sound like a fascinating idea, and it's delightful to see that these kind of games are actually being put together. And, let's be honest, even though, in my personal opinion, it sounds fantastic, but I like the idea of another game slightly more, but then again, the game would not be quite so realistic within the My Little Pony universe, and I think,
It's actually quite... This game is a real... The case you start solving... Because you only get to solve the first half of this case, because that's only a demo.
Yep.
But the case you start solving is quite interesting, and it's very inside the universe itself.
It's not that I'm talking about. This one sounds like it's perfectly suited to it, and that's what I'm saying. Even though I like the idea of a different game more, this one seems considerably more suited than that other game, and I think you know which other game I'm thinking about.
The main 6 fighting one?
My Little Pony, Fighting is Magic.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
Although it is a good game, but in its own right.
Indeed, indeed.
Oh, speaking of which, if you're a lady and you wish to do voice acting, they're actually looking for a voice actor now for Fluttershy, I believe.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
No, I am not entering that.
The sheer quantity of adorableness you would need to be able to put into your voice to be able to effectively do a cover for Fluttershy would be insane.
Yay! Okay, I quit.
I gotta say, since we're now moving on to the YouTube picks for the week part of the section, I'll let you go first, but I will say, in terms of characters who can do an effective impersonation, I think the one who did the impersonation in the video I chose this week was absolutely...
Oh, I think your video win this week, hands down.
Oh, good time.
Your video does win this week, but mine is actually quite a little funny one. It's a TF2 My Little Pony crossover rendition done in, obviously, Gary's mod, and... Heavy decides he sees the episode where Pinkie Pie blasts off, and he wants Pinkie Pie to actually do it. So he gets Pinkie Pie's party cannon and fires her up to the moon. It's quite funny, actually.
Good times were had by all. And my pick for this week was something which some of the people in the My Little Pony community have probably seen before, but it's a little minute-long thing called The Real Friendship Letter at the end of the Mayor Do Well episode, in which Twilight discusses the interesting hypocrisy and outright silliness of what they were doing during the episode. And
it's really funny.
It's not actually done. You won't believe it when you're listening to it, but it's not actually done by the official voice actress for Twilight Sparkle. Just someone who does a perfect, and I do mean that with a capital P, a perfect impersonation of Twilight Sparkle.
Oh yeah, I actually thought it was the real Twilight until she started saying lines I've never heard before.
Yeah, exactly. Until she started uttering the word douche. Here's a minor spoiler for you. Until she started uttering the word douche, I thought it was actually the original Twilight Sparkle, and then I went, what?
Yeah, me too. So I recommend this one. This one wins hands down this week.
Good times, good times.
Or should I say hoof downs, because they're both pony videos this week.
Indeed.
Hey, I'm a pony. I say that. Get used to it.
Delightful.
Anyway, we have 3 new segments which introduced this week to give our show a bit of stability. For those of you complaining we do nothing but ramble on, we're going to actually organise our rambling on now.
Hooray! Organised chaos!
Yes, that's my favourite oxymoron.
Delightful.
Uh-huh. And this week, our first new feature is called the Weekly Rant. And Wheatley has first honours this week because he normally rants about crap all the time.
Oh, I love to rant. But this one is a very simple and very basic rant, which I'm sure that some of you may like, you may not. Who knows? And when I say like, I mean in terms of agree or disagree. Now, there's been, as you know, the usual weekly update to Team Fortress 2, where they add a new hat and then do a couple of tweaks to the game or what have you. And this week, they added the hat, and although I know that a lot of people like it, I gotta be honest, Fruit Shoot, novel idea, I hate it. I really do. I take one look at this thing and I just think, congratulations, you've put an apple on the sniper's head. How in the bloody hell is it staying there? When he moves around, that thing sits on his head like a tumour growing out of his brain. It does not move. It just sits there. And I can't stand that.
Maybe he used Australian ingenuity to stick it to his head.
Yeah, maybe. But as we've already established, he's not one of the ingenious Australians. Because all the ingenious Australians have moustaches, even the women. Point is, that's not actually what got to me this week. That was just a minor what the hell is not going to...
Well, I was going to say... That's exactly my point. He's not ingenious, so how do you think he got it to stick to his head? He used a bottle of Girardi.
He is not that tight, but here's the thing. The Fruit Shoot, I don't really need to worry about. I don't think it's a very good hat, no offence to the creator. It's very well modelled, don't get me wrong. The actual hat itself is very pretty, but just the concept behind it, the fact that it was chosen over some of the other hats is just outright silly to me. But here's what I want to rant about. The frying pan. Come on, you all knew this was coming. I was okay with the frying pan when it could only be equipped by the soldier and the demo man, you know? That was fine. I had no issues with the frying pan at that point. Bong, bong, what? You know? It was incredibly irritating, made a funny sound, but whatever. Then they went ahead and gave it to everyone. Except, of course, for, naturally the spy, which is,
I think you'll be happy about that, because you are a spy, aren't you?
Well, that's not really what I'm happy about, per se. It's more the fact that the engineer can't equip it for obvious reasons, because you can't use a frying pan to build a sentry gun, and the spy can't use it because it can't be used to backstab people, even though people have already made the joke about, hey, why doesn't the spy just use it to bash people over the back of the head? Just, no. Just shut up and die. Point is, they gave it to the pyro, fine. They gave it to the medic, fine. They gave it to the sniper, fine. They gave it to the heavy, fine. They gave it to the scout? Are you...
Yay!
Are you...
Yay, troll scout, yeah.
He's pretty much summed it up for me completely. Pardon my French here. Pardon my French here. Actually, Loopy, am I allowed to swear or not? Because I often do, but I should double check.
No, I'll try and keep it to a minimum.
Okay. Let's see. I'll replace the usual and much fruitier F word with fringing for this week only. Or possibly just dingle. I don't know. The point is, what in the bloody hell were you thinking when you gave the scout a frying pan, Val? Seriously.
I think it's the greatest invention since sliced cheese.
Seriously. And I'm going to point this out to you very bluntly. What if they had in the past? Needed a dispenser here, needed a dispenser here, They actually had to put in a system where you couldn't spam that for more than a certain number of times in a given amount of time to stop people from constantly spamming that. Because you know what? It was bloody annoying. And then what did they do? They added the Sandman. Constantly whacking against the ground and against the walls, that constant clocking noise. Yeah, because that wasn't incredibly bloody annoying as well. Now what have you done? You've given him a frying pan. Bing, 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 bing. Seriously, I think Loopy perfectly demonstrates my point here in that people are enjoying this way too much. It is the ultimate troll thing to do. Val, give the frying pan to whoever you like. Just take it off that obnoxious little prick. Seriously.
I actually think this is going to turn into a parody like arrow to the knee, frying pan to the face.
Ugh.
I think this is going to turn into a parody.
It just hurts me. It hurts my brain. It hurts my conceivable brain. Why would you give that man a frying pan? Of all the things, why?
And the worst part of all, I'm using it as Scootaloo on Hail. Clang, 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 clang. Now you're a chicken.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's so good.
It causes me physical pain just thinking about it.
It causes me wonderful enjoyment.
I can't believe it. And come on, Valve. You were doing so well with the last update. It was so good. You fixed the sharpened volcano fragment. You fixed the bug that stopped Avatar things showing up. You fixed all those terribly bugs. You've even added that super cool stuff to the grenade launcher and the sticky launchers to make them look super awesome. You added Crate Series 43, and oh my god, I was so incredibly chuffed about that. The fact that I could finally have a strange detonator, and Loopy could have a strange shortstop. These things were absolutely brilliant. And then you gave the Scout a frying pan.
Yay! Best time ever.
And I'm done.
Don't worry, next week on the Wheatley Rant, I'll be complaining about something why Wheatley enjoys me complaining about it.
Right.
But anyway,
and now for our next section, Inside Gaming, which Mr. Loopy will now kindly run you through.
Yeah. We're going to start covering different games, probably mainly new releases every week, and we're going to get into a bit and discuss it a bit. Normally when our guest stars are here, we'll ask them what they think of it, so on and so forth, but because Super Mario Night Combat has officially been released now, I thought we'd talk about that. For those of you that don't know, it's basically a mix between a bit of a tower defense game, a bit of a lull, and a bit of a third-person shooter in some ways.
I liked it. I liked it a lot when I first gave it a...
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
But, so the main objective of the game is you're to blow up the opponent's, what is it, lotto bin, isn't it? Moneyball, there you go. So you have, there's towers and there's bots that walk along set paths, and you have to escort the bots, destroy the towers, and eventually push your opponent, the opposing side back to the other side and blow up their money ball to receive payday, yeah!
Oh boy, good times were had by all. I'll freely admit that even from the first game, I was such a huge fan of Monday Night Combat. I think that the only reason I stopped playing the first one is because I got really sick of the fact that the teams can become incredibly unbalanced if there's even one really good player on the other side. In Team Fortress 2, it's a lot more team-focused. You know, you need to have a lot of people to actually be able to do things properly. One good player will not save a really terrible team. Whereas in Monday Night Combat, a single player can, in fact, save a terrible team. One good player can absolutely slaughter his way through everything.
That's true. And I will say this. I mean, I reckon they will be team balancing issues. They'll make things more team focused with some updates and patches and nerfs and whatnot. But I mean, the way the gameplay is, and one thing I don't think people appreciate, the actual story behind it. I mean, like, you got those two funny announcers, you got the actual background stories of the characters, they actually give a bit of description. Look, I actually appreciate all the little stuff they've done for this game just to make bring more life into it, eh? It's quite handy.
Oh, absolutely. That was something that the other one did very well, was bringing out all those little, the little advertising videos in a very similar manner to, certain advertisements from other games that we all play, but I think
meet everyone.
They did them in a very refreshing way. For example, I was a big fan of the commercial which featured the pyro and the shaving foam, and I do mean the Monday Night Combat pyro from the original game. That was very entertaining.
Oh, I gotta go see that. I've never played the original Monday Night Combat. I only started playing when the beta came out for this one.
Indeed. Not to mention the fact that the Monday Night Combat references are a lot more blunt than the ones in, like, for example, Team Fortress 2. Like, they actually have the fruit-molesting robot, or the juice bot from the Gentleman's, from Gabe and Tycho's little comic strip. Very entertaining.
One, actually, the sniper, he's got some comments in the Super one that actually like, he sits there and goes, oh, maybe they should nerf me because I just keep owning you or something like that.
Yeah, he's a very, very entertaining character. I like the fact that he's, in fact, I believe in his cloning information, because they all have the information of the people they were cloned from.
Yeah.
The sniper's cloning information clearly states that he was actually also partially cloned from so-called elite video gamers. Which explains some of his quotations like, all right, I got a plan and I need one more. Who wants to take a bullet for me?
That's true.
Oh, man. What's that one he says? I remember I once grapple-kicked someone. I smacked them out of the arena, and they died from the fall damage. And the sniper went, that counts. I'm adding that to my total.
I can't remember that one.
It was good.
Oh, but it is a good game, and it is free to play. I mean, it's like Team Fortress 2, there's a shop to buy stuff, but go out there and have a bit of fun and get into it. It's quite fun.
Let's face it, if you've always thought that Team Fortress 2 needed a little more grappling and a little more tower defense and, a little more hilariously underdressed women, then yes, you should definitely go and play Super Monday Night Combat.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention anything about my underdressed woman in that game.
Mm-hmm. To quote the spy, ha ha ha.
Fair enough.
Yep.
What was that? Say that again.
Ha ha ha.
No, the bit after that.
Fair enough.
No, the bit before that.
What did I say?
Yep.
Yep.
You started doing that now?
Starting doing what? I've been doing that for ages. I've been doing yup since before I saw My Little Pony.
Oh yeah, right.
No, seriously, you know why? Because the first thing I ever saw of My Little Pony was the video of Applejack and Big Macintosh having a conversation where she says, "Are you saying my mouth is making promises my legs can't keep?" Big Macintosh says, "Yup," and then it cuts to a black screen with jazz music playing and a caption that said, "And then they fucked."
So that was your first experience.
That was my first ever My Little Pony experience. Yeah.
And what got you to watch that video?
It was being posted by one of the people who usually posts Team Fortress videos.
And then curiosity got the better of you, then you started watching the show.
No, I didn't watch the show for about 4 months after I saw that video.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's the story for another time.
Yes. The actual story of my first getting into My Little Pony is definitely for another time.
Uh-huh.
It takes too long.
Fair enough. Well, we'll make it a show feature for another week. Mm-hmm. All right, that moves us on to our last section. We're going to have the Mad Chatters table.
Hooray!
Well, we get to pick anything we bloody well please to and talk about it.
Yep, and this one is a rather simple one. One that, realistically, it will actually make the show, considerably more interesting and a lot more interactive with you folks out there, which is, and Loopy will put it very eloquently for us.
Drum roll, please. Email us, please!
Yeah, more emails. I love emails. Emails are good. You need to send us more of them.
I mean, now that we've got these different sections, like the Mad Chatters table, the Inside Gaming, and also the Weekly Rant, which I'm sure some of you would like to, send in your suggestions of what we should do for these categories. If you have a Weekly Rant, send it in. We might just talk about it on the show.
Yeah, and of course, we'll even give a free shout-out to you, for obvious reasons, for the fact that you inspired us to do it in the first place.
Of course, we'll always give a shout-out to people's references that we use on the show. Shout-out to Wheatley for this week's Wheatley Wang.
Right.
Wait, did I just screw that up? Oops.
Yes, I'd be slightly concerned. I don't think that the good people on YouTube want to hear about my weekly wang.
Sorry, weekly rant. Sorry. Why, what, was it good?
Well, it always is.
So, you can email us your question. I know we have some regular emails here, and heads off to some of our regular emails, like the Random Davo, Matt the Mighty. They're regular emails, and we appreciate you guys, and we love the feedback. Yeah, but, to everyone else who watches the show, get off your lazy carcasses and send them in some emails. Takes 5 minutes to write up a quick question, and don't forget, please sign your name to the email. If you do not, I'll read out the name of your email address.
Hooray! Wait, what?
No. For example, if your username is SparklyPony5, but your real name is Chris McCoy, and your email is chrismccoy@hotmail.com, and you forget to sign your email, SparklyPinky5, I'm going to actually say your name is Chris McCormick.
Yeah, because that's pretty much what it tells us.
Yeah. So make sure you include your username. It's like you say, hello, Mad Chatters, blah, 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 cheers, or from your loyal viewer, your name. So I don't have to read out your email name. Because we'd like to know who emails are from.
Oh, absolutely lovely. I'm sorry. I've just been sent something here, and funnily enough, it's not quite by email, but very, very close. It was from one of my gentleman friends on Steam who wishes to remain anonymous, who I told I was going to be, doing this podcast now, and I said, don't interrupt me, and he's interrupted me, but whatever. Sent me a rather delightful little photo, which was posted on the Doctor Who Tumblr. And it's a picture of a bridge wherein there's a bunch of statues which look suspiciously like the Weeping Angels. And it says, it's to Stephen Moffat. And it says, we don't know whether you're connected to it, but St. Petersburg is in danger. We need the doctor. And they're all standing there, and he sent them back a message saying, I'm sorry, there's nothing anyone can do. You are all doomed. I love it when that happens. But when a celebrity writer just says, you're all stuffed.
Now, before we get to the emails, I have a point to do.
Mm-hmm.
Matt the Mighty was bugging me on TeamSpeak earlier this week, and I promised I'd get revenge on the show.
Hooray!
Matt the Mighty, I'm going to kill you.
Hooray!
You're stupid? Well, not really. You're a wonderful viewer. We do love you, but you're still stupid. Urgh. He was coming on TeamSpeak thinking he can own me, and I completely trolled him. Yay!
Hooray! I believe... I got to be honest, when you started that, I thought you were just going to say, Matt the Mighty? Silence! I kill you!
I was thinking of doing that, but I thought I'd be a little more nice than that.
Well, you did threaten to destroy him.
I did. And you know what? I've actually got plans for that, and I thought I'd make him weep over it, but I am actually setting up... Next week there will be a special segment on how I destroy Matt the Mighty.
Hooray! Genocide of one person!
Yeah. Your doom is at hand. You have one more week to live, Matt. I suggest you start sucking up to me and do it now.
7 days.
Good
times.
But I don't think this email helps. I will skip down to his email, because he's right in the bottom. It says, this is from Matt the Mighty. First, he has a few questions. He's like, what is your most hated thing in the world?
Good Lord, my most hated thing in the world.
While you think about that, and he also asks, what do you hate being called? And then he says, you will pay sloppy. What? Sloopy. You will pay sloopy. So, not a good way to get on my good side, Matt the Tiny. No, sorry, Matt the Tiny. I'm going to call him Matt the Tiny for the week.
Hooray!
You are now dubbed Matt the Tiny.
It's a good thing that I didn't read that either. I would have said it as Matt, or you will pay sloppy, because sloppy seems more accurate to what he was actually trying to say.
I think it means sloopy there.
I think it is, but that really doesn't make any sense, so I just went with sloppy.
Anyway, he reckons my favourite cartoon is Men in Black, and my characters are Will Smith. Thank you, Matt the Tiny, for noticing that the game has been guessed. For those of you that are still guessing, the game has been guessed by Last Will. It was Command & Conquer Renegade.
Yeah.
So only cartoon and character now for the competition. And I'm sorry, wrong answers. But and he says, enjoy the questions, Matt the Tiny.
Enjoy question 4. What?
I don't know what question 4 is.
Yes, it's a very curious thing. Oh, well.
Well, this is actually 2 emails. He sent me 2 emails this week. I just copied and pasted them one after the other.
Oh, right. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Anyway.
Well, the first one ended at, basically it ends between you will pay Sloopy and his guesses.
Oh, very good, very good.
So I don't know where enjoy question 4 is. There was no question 4.
Yes. Matt, you may want to actually, enlighten us as to what the heck you're blathering about there.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Matt the Tiny.
As for what is my most hated thing in the world, there's so much to hate. I often find that hating something is kind of pointless, like it's just a fruitless waste of energy. But I guess I could answer this in a comedic manner. I really could. I could say something like, the thing I hate most in the world is when people say, you mad bro, and think they're actually being clever. But no. The sad reality is that the thing that I hate most in this world is when people lie about totally pointless things, or, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, when people lie about shit that they really, really shouldn't be lying about. Like,
yeah, I'm the president of America.
Oh, no, it's not like that. That's just silly and over the top, and it's a lie you wouldn't get away with. And maybe I shouldn't even say lie. Maybe I should say people should just admit to things. Like, for example, without going into too much detail here, if somebody you like if somebody likes you, and they like you a lot, and they make it painfully obvious that they like you, and then you start going out with somebody else, and the other person doesn't know about it, and you've been making signs to them that you like them, you should probably tell them first. Because if they find out on their own, they're going to be very deeply hurt. Maybe you don't want to hurt them. Maybe you don't want to, you don't want to hurt their feelings or whatever by rejecting them. Guess what? It's going to hurt their feelings a hell of a lot more if you wait until afterwards and don't say a thing and let them find out on their own, rather than just breaking it to them. It'll hurt. It will. They will be upset. But they can handle it, and they will appreciate the honesty. Trust, I know.
Right. And as for me, I mean, I'm not the kind of person that gets into the whole emotional side of humanity, but for me, I'd have to say my pet peeve is this. It's kind of minor inconveniences, in a way, that probably the best way I can sum up. Basically, little situations like, you want to get something out of the cupboard, and the only way it's going to come out of the cupboard is if everything else falls out for you to get it. Or, you go to mow the lawn, right? And the only way the mow's going to start is if you get down and clean all the grass out because it's chunked up again. You know what I mean?
I do.
Minor inconveniences like that really peeve me off, The only way the breakfast cereal's going to come out of the cupboard is if you pull everything else out first, and in the process, drop some of it all over the floor.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about there.
Things like that just really get on my nerve, and sometimes I have the biggest spasms and the biggest I'm angry at you sessions because, of small little things. I mean, my grandfather died. I was upset, I was sad, but I didn't get angry about it, The following day, something falls off the table. I chuck a spack about it.
Well,
that's just me.
I can't say that I've really done that level, but I don't know. I suppose if you're talking about it in that perspective, emotional detachment from big events can be actually quite normal, but I suppose it comes down to how each person individually was raised and how their wiring goes.
I love this was almost 5 or 6 years ago. I love my grandfather. I still do, and I miss him, But I'm not going to sit there and have a 2-week subfest over the fact he's gone.
It was the same thing with me with my my first grandmother who passed away, because she lived with us for a couple of years. And when she died, I did not cry until her funeral, and that was about 8 days after she died. And
I didn't cry even at the funeral.
Oh, trust me, if you'd been there, very beautifully done. But I'm actually a big sook. Like, I'm a huge emotional person, and I get into things. I get really upset. When I get upset, I get really upset. But at the same time, I don't get upset about a lot of things. It's just certain things, and I'm not entirely certain why, they just really get under my skin. And I think the reason why I wasn't upset at first about Nan's passing away was because she'd been deteriorating a lot. She'd been passing away, for quite a while, and she wasn't really the same person that she was. And, it was honestly a relief that she had finally gone, because, it wasn't much of a life for her. But I was okay with her death at the end, because I knew that I had to be strong for my mum's sake, because she had been looking after her, and she took it really, really hard.
Yeah, fair. I can understand.
But yeah, I think the reason I wound up crying at the actual funeral was because it was just kind of that moment where it all just came out, that big kind of emotional release. But to try and steer this back into a more light-hearted area of discussion, I will say in all fairness that I do also get quite upset by things that really shouldn't upset me. Like if I'm driving home from work at 5 o'clock in the morning and I've been working really, really hard, and all I want is like a Pepsi or, a chocolate bar or something. Stop in at the petrol station, they're all sold out, I will get incredibly depressed.
Oh, yeah, that's like a minor inconvenience. I hate minor inconvenience with a passion. That's just me. You sit there, all right, I've done work all day long, I want to go home and I want to play the computer, but the computer has some problem that hasn't happened all week with it.
Oh, I'm sure everyone listening has had this happen at some point.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like, I used to have a day job before I started writing and designing from home for a living, right? And, my computer had been working normally all week. I had done nothing except log on and play games all week long, right? And then I log on, and there's some problem that with my graphics card, and it took me 2 hours to fix it before I can get on and play.
Oh, 2 hours. Oh, no. I've had problems where I've come back. I've been at home alone because everyone else has gone off on a trip or something, and they won't be coming back for like a week or so. And I think, all right, time to Relax. First thing I do, push the power button on my computer, nothing happens. And I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I can relate, but yeah, minor inconveniences is what drives me back, so to say. Anyway, we'll start from the top. You can have first honours.
Indeed. All right. All righty. Hello, Mad Chatters. I have a few questions I would like to ask both of you. What nationality are you, and what is the best part of being that nationality? Do you
Ooh.
have any other major interests
Wait,
besides
let's
gaming?
answer the questions first before we ask the next one.
Oh, very well.
Well, we're both Aussies, and Aussies are the best.
Well, yeah. I think that's very, very simple. But honestly, I think the best part about being Australian is that mostly, and I do say mostly here,
I think I see where this is going.
we're mostly not seen as being an overly warlike people. You know, we've had a fairly sordid past, but we've also moved on from that. Like, we have changed, we have evolved, we have become better people since then. We have acknowledged our past mistakes and chosen to become better from them, as opposed to certain other countries, which shall not be named, which continue to be the same hateful, warmongering, bigoted, racially backwards, religiously insane, xenophobic bastards that they have been for the last 200 years. But I digress, and I, of course, am not going to name the name of that place. But the thing I really like about being Australian is that we have the best stereotypes. We really do.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, like, you know, what have you got? The German stereotype, fat Hitlers, you know, who eat sausages all day. What have you got for Australia? You got, oi, mate, you want to come over to my place and go surfing, have some shrimp on the barbie, have some of the seals over for a right didgeridoo. That's perfectly fine. I have no issue with that whatsoever.
The one thing I will say this as well. The one thing I like about being Australian is we're built tougher than most people around the world. You know, you sit there and you make a joke about the Americans. Actually, I'm going to say this now. I used to work at an internet cafe. That used to be my day job, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Have you heard this one before?
I have not.
Right? And I'll be honest. There's 2 lines of computers in this internet cafe. $3.50 an hour for computers on the back wall, the internet only, or $4 an hour for gaming computers.
Yay.
Right? And obviously the gaming computers are more faster and have higher speeds and what? Sorry, I just had to mute for a second there. But like, you know, this one, it was a nighttime shift for me, right? And this is right next to Free Backpack Hostel, so it gets very busy around this time of night when they all get back from working, right?
Yeah.
The back wall was full except for free computers. And there was one person on all the gaming computers, right? This American couple comes in and like, oh, I would like 2 computers next to each other, please. And I'm like, well, the only ones left on the back wall are 3, 16, and 22. Just 3, I can't remember the numbers, right? But they were nowhere near each other. And I'm like, well, I can put you on these 2, that's sort of close, like 17 and 22, for example, right? Like, what about those ones over there? I'm like, I explained to them, they're gaming computers, they cost $4 an hour. And they said, well, can't we just use those ones? We're not going to play games for $3.50 an hour. I'm like, no, you can't do that, they'll be $4 an hour, because that's how the rules work, right? And they go, no. What we're going to do, we're going to use these 2 computers because they're sitting next to each other, and we're going to pay $3.50 an hour for it. I'm like, you can't do that. It's not how it works. It's like, and they're like, yes, it is. That's only fair. And I'm like, you just can't come into the shop and make up the rules yourself, mate. And they're like, well, yeah, we can. That's fair. You know, we're not going to pay for something that's not unfair. You know, we're not playing games. So they physically started to walk over the computers like, hey, I'm not going to put them on for you because I had power from behind the counter to put them on.
Yeah.
Like. And they're like, yes, you will. I'm like, no. And they're like, then they started literally raising their voice at me. I'm like, mate, that's not how it works. And they're like, fine, get your boss on the line. We'll see him. We're going to get you fired. I hope you enjoyed your job here.
Huh.
I'm like, okay, no problem. Because my boss and I are on really good terms. Called my boss, and he basically told them where to stick it.
Yeah.
Right? And after they got off the phone, they were like, oh, I can't believe your boss, I can't believe your boss said that to us. And I simply said, mate, look, I'll tell you how it works in this country. There's the door. It's free of charge. Feel free to use it.
Oh, that's very nice. I appreciate that.
And you know what? By this time, everyone in the internet cafe turned around to see what the commotion was, right? And guess what they done?
What?
They gave me a standing ovation.
Nice.
Everything from Germans to there was Europeans and Asians all over the cafe, and they literally stood there and clapped for me and booed the Americans as they huffed out and walked out with their heads held high.
Ah, brilliant.
I've never seen 2 Americans run out of a shop faster.
I should point out at this point, because it seems like we're giving the Americans a pretty harsh rap. These 2 Americans do not reflect the views of every American. I know plenty of Americans who are totally sane, sensible-minded, good people. It's just that, unfortunately, the national stereotype of America, for a majority of the Americans, is very well deserved. Not for all of them, but for quite a few of them.
Stereotypes don't reflect everyone in the population. It just reflects most of them.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And these two were a perfect shining example of why some Americans are stuck-up snobs.
Yeah,
and this is a completely true story.
It's just complete insanity. It's like, that thing there, they're like, well, we're not going to use it to game, we're just going to use it for this, and we'll only pay certain much. That's like walking into a fast food joint and saying, hi, I'd like to buy this burger, but I'm only going to pay this much for it because I intend to peel off some of the ingredients after I've purchased it.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't work like that.
Exactly. You pay for what you bloody pay for.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Anyway, what's the next question?
Mm-hmm. Next question is, do you have any other major interests besides gaming, Loopy?
Ooh, I think I'll do this one first. Yeah, I love cartoons and designing as well, because for those of you who don't know by now, I actually write and design cartoons for a living from home. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. And my new cartoon series is just about ready for animation, minus a small little project I'm working on.
I wonder what that could be.
I think we'll leave it there for that.
Good times. But any other major interests besides gaming? I act, I take photos, I make movies, I write. I have a whole plethora of things that I do besides playing games. In fact, playing games, despite the fact that I do it a lot, is only a small portion of the stuff that I really get up to. Like,
I'd have to say, like you, I've got other fields in entertainment. I just have to say, now you've brought it up, but like music, I've got background in music, radio, and also writing, but I don't know why, but I just enjoy entertaining people in one way or another. It's what I was born to, it's what I enjoy doing.
Absolutely, that's basically it. In fact, there is and I know I've said this before, but a man is least... Here we go. Quotation by Oscar Wilde, and I know I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again because it's still relevant. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask and he will tell you the truth. That's pretty much my life in a nutshell. It's why I love being an actor. You can be so many more things than just yourself when you're being other people.
Umbrella Man.
Yeah, that's just one of the many. Umbrella Man is just one of the many things that I can be. Umbrella Man, Lord Halston, even Wheatley right now is still just another character.
You don't want to know some of the people I've acted over the years.
I've acted with some really strange people. There was one fellow, what was his name? Shock was his name. An aptly earned title, if ever there was one. I wasn't sure if he had some kind of issue. He quite possibly might have, and I'm not going to try and rip him off for that. But he was one of the most terrifying people I have ever encountered in real life. Not because he tried to stab you, or because he attacked you, but because the way he behaved was just slightly off. Like, you talked to this guy, and you looked at the way he acted, and he looked like the kind of person who would pick up a butter knife and stick it in you and consider that to be ordinary social behavior. It was creepy.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
What's the next part?
Question 3. What would you like to do as a seriously job/career in the future?
I think I answered that last question.
Yeah, pretty much. I would love to just keep doing what I'm doing at the moment, except just get paid a lot more money for it.
Yeah, me too. Why do you think we're bringing this show to you free? Pay us, goddammit.
You know what?
Next question? Oh.
I certainly wouldn't... Sorry, the gears are turning, but I won't say a word.
Don't you dare start that again.
Uh-huh.
No, don't, or I'll start the 20% thing again.
Don't make me stab you.
Don't make me...
You don't even know what I'm thinking.
Well, you said the gears are turning. I thought you were talking about steampunk.
No, I'm not thinking about steampunk. I was thinking about something considerably more insidious than steampunk. Oh, and by the way, speaking of steampunk, if any of you listeners, by some bizarre coincidence... Wait, they're not even going to hear this before Saturday, are they?
No, it's going up Friday.
Oh, well, in that case, if you somehow manage to hear this before tomorrow, there is going to be, and tomorrow being Saturday in this particular instance, not Friday. Yeah, see what I did there. Anyway, if you happen to hear this podcast before Saturday, there's going to be a steampunk picnic on one of the parks in Jesmond, specifically in Jesmond Park. So if you live anywhere in the Newcastle or surrounding area, steampunk picnic at Jesmond Park, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
If anyone is actually there from listening to this show, I think you should give them a medal.
Oh, I will. I will give them something awesome if they are actually there from listening to this. But it would depend if they actually live close enough to hear it.
Oh yeah, but I don't see it happening. But you never know.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, Wheatley himself will be there, and you can say hello to him and tell him what a douche he is.
Hey.
Anyway, what's the last
feelings
part?
have been hurt. All right. Question 4.
If you could have one wish that could be granted in this world, what would you wish for? And don't say to have infinite wishes, because that defeats the purpose.
Damn it. Well, what would you wish for? I know what I'd wish for.
What?
I'd actually wish I'd have powers
probably
similar to the mask, so I can do just about anything I want as long as it's comically funny. Yay!
Yeah, it's pretty much very similar to mine, except not the mask. I would just wish that I could be Umbrella Man. Very simple.
Yeah, but like, I don't want to have a green mask, I just want to have his powers, you know what I mean?
I would quite happily just wish to be Umbrella Man, to have his abilities, his powers, his look, everything, because he's much more the kind of person who I wish that I could be.
You know what I'll do the first time I met you if I had my powers?
Mm.
I'll sit there and imitate you.
Well,
and you can say, that's flattery.
if I had my abilities, you would never be able to find me.
Aw, you're no fun. How am I supposed to say hello to you if I can't find you?
Well, that's kind of the whole thing with Umbrella Man, is that nobody really knows he's there, with the exception of Lady Kane, who also has the same abilities as him, and a couple of key characters who he either interacts with voluntarily or because they can see him.
Oh, so what you're saying is Umbrella Man is really real in this world. No one just knows where he is or who he is.
Yeah, I firmly maintain that I am not actually Umbrella Man. You know, every time someone asks me how Umbrella Man is going, I say, well, you'd have to ask him. I'm just his messenger boy.
Anyway, is there any more? Oh, yeah, there is.
Yes. All the podcasts, especially the most recent one, never cease to amaze and entertain me. Keep up the good work. Cheers, Octave Tune.
I don't believe I've ever had an email from that person before.
Indeed, I'm quite chuffed about that, especially because it gave me an opportunity to say the email in, hopefully, varying octaves. And now the joke makes sense.
Alright, let's see. Since I have officially been banned from Wheatley and Quapple from doing voice work again, I can't voice work this one, sorry, so I'm going to have to say it like this. They said if I ever do voice work again, they'll kill me, right?
Stabby, stabby.
Yeah, see what I mean? It's the critics.
Oh my god, it's Davo!
Okay, Loopy, I think I'll guess at this. My favourite game is Duke Nukem, which, derp, has already been solved. Your favourite character is The Flash. No, I'm not going to strip naked for you. And your favourite cartoon is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's a cartoon movie. Does it count? Well, it probably would count, but it's not my favourite, sorry. So, wrong on all fronts, but good guesses. What's this? I'm pretty sure one of these were guessed by Last Will in the podcast I just watched, but I can't remember the answer or category, so I guessed all 3. Also, here's 2 questions for the next guest. You and Wheatley. Am I allowed to ask 2 questions? Question 1. Assuming they play TF2, what is your favourite weapon and why?
I'll let you go first for that one, mate.
Clang, 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 clang.
Yeah, I didn't even need to say it.
Actually, no, technically my favourite weapon is the shortstop. But followed by a close second by clang, clang, clang.
Indeed, indeed. As for me, what my favourite weapon is? Well...
Clang, 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 clang.
Anything which doesn't go clang for a start is ideal. In fact, I'd almost be, just to be facetious, I would almost say that the Eternal Reward is my favourite weapon because it's a silent killer and makes no noise when it murders people. But, no. In all honesty, I would say that probably my favourite weapon in Team Fortress 2 would probably have to be the Conniver's kunai. I'm a big fan of that thing. But, no! As a serious weapon, definitely the Conniver's kunai, but my favourite weapon by far is the man-treads, because they are the manliest way to kill people in that game.
Really?
Man-treads? Yeah, I've got myself up to 28 man-treads killed so far. I'm very pleased.
Man-treads? Really?
Yeah, the man-treads. Love them.
I'm sorry, it has to be said. The man-treads need to be about 20% cooler.
No, they don't. They don't need to be 20% cooler. They are, in and of themselves, 20% cooler than anything else. It is very, very simple. They don't need to be cooler, because they are automatically the coolest weapon, because they are the best and the most manly way to kill someone.
You stomp on someone's head like Mario.
Pretty much. Let's face it, you either stomp on someone or you take a shitload of damage. Very simple. You have to be good. You'll find that. all of the weapons which I post and say these weapons are manly require you to be good. They require you to be skilled, but they also ramp down the luck factor in many cases.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, this is one of the things I've always said of why the Eyelander is a more manly weapon than the Hafsa-Toichi. And everyone's like, but it's a katana, bro. Katanas are awesome and they're incredibly manly because ninjas use katanas, man. No, generic stoner, they are not cool because they have random crits. If the katana did not have random crits, it would be an amazingly manly weapon, because you'd have to fight your way through, and if you killed someone, you would be rewarded with having all of your health given back to you. That would be fantastic. It would be brilliant, and more importantly, it would be balanced. You can already score an instant kill against another katana user because of the way the weapon is designed. So why is it you can get an instant kill against everyone else with your bloody random crits? Like, for example, I fought a demo night on Degroot Keep the other day. I was an engineer. I had the Southern Hospitality. I
love that gun.
Oh, the
weapon.
wrench, yes, but...
Sorry.
I was having a nice little duel with him. I hit him once. He missed. I hit him twice. He missed. I hit him a third time. He still missed. I went in for the fourth hit. He got a random crit, instantly killed me, and all of his health was given back to him. He got maybe 2 points for the whole rest of the round. He was an awful player who did not deserve that kill, but he got it thanks to the luck gods. That weapon does not deserve to have random crits.
Alright, let's see. And his second question is, what's the longest period of time you've spent playing a video game, not PC exclusive? Looking forward to the next one, Davo. I'm probably going to have to be honest about this, but this is funny and probably and/or also sad in the same time.
So is mine.
Oh, okay, you first then.
No, after you.
I went first for the last one.
No, after you. You started.
Do I have to?
Yes.
I will not accept no as an answer.
Alrighty, I'll fess up. Have you ever heard of the game Luigi's Mansion?
Oh, yes. In fact, you know what I was listening to just before we started? You know how you said to me, save it for afterwards?
Yeah.
It was a remix of the Luigi's Mansion theme done using Applejack going, ooh.
Well, let's just say, the first time I ever played Luigi's Mansion, I finished it in one sitting.
Nice. How long did that take you?
10 hours. I was there from like 7 in the morning till 7 at night or something like that.
I'm going to be completely honest. That's not really so bad.
I do have one that's worse, but I'm waiting to see what you say first.
Now, bearing in mind, I'm going very loosely on the idea of what's the longest period of straight time spent playing a video game, not PC exclusive. And I'll explain my answer afterwards. 5 days. And I will explain that. I did not sleep, along with one of my friends. I did not sleep at any point during that 5-day period.
What game?
It was Dawn of War. The very first Dawn of War. We were playing a multiplayer game, teams against expert-level computers. We were in an epic stalemate, and we refused to go to sleep or stop until we had either died or beaten them. It took us just over 5 days. The only pauses we had were to use the loo, to eat and drink, which we had by the computer, and to have the occasional shower to help keep us awake. We drank about 40 litres over the course of time. We drank about 40 litres of Coca-Cola. And we stayed awake the entire time until finally we managed to actually beat them. That was the longest period of time I've spent playing any video game. I'm pretty sure that if I get any debilitating diseases any time in the next few years, it will be from that, and that was years ago.
Oh, I think that trumps what I had in mind, but yeah. I will admit, when World of Warcraft, I started playing World of Warcraft about 6 months after it came out. I played for about a year before I thought it started getting crap. But when I first got it, I was like, new game. I didn't sleep for 2 nights.
Yeah, that happens.
But what you just said makes me look like a child's toy. Anyway, that's everything else up. Did you have anything else you wish to say this week? And aren't you lucky Last Will's not here to repeat what happened last week to you?
Yes. What do I...
Nothing happened all show, then he blurts it out. Oh, that was classic. You got to give him points for that. I didn't...
You can't see it, listeners. You really can't actually see it, but this is my unamused face. This is my unamused face. In fact, this is my unamused face with me patting an imaginary baseball bat in my hands.
What did you do? What are you, Miss Potato, packing different faces now?
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I got my unamused face, I've got my mildly aroused face, I've got my in-deep thought face.
You know that 20% cool, I'm going to be annoying with that for the rest of this podcast history, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I know. It's a deeply irritating and annoying thing, but that's what happens when you start doing a podcast with an obvious troll.
Well, you haven't gotten anything that's regular on me yet, have you?
That's because nothing gets to you, Loopy.
Ta-da!
You're so detached from sanity and reality that you can't actually be trolled, and that's the biggest thing about trolls is that, as they always say, you can't win by arguing with the troll. The troll wins.
Yay! I win!
You don't actually win, but see, it's a pointless and facetious argument because in a logical, sane world, everyone else will agree that the troll loses, but the troll himself cannot lose for the same reason that orcs can't lose in Warhammer. As they say it themselves, orcs are never beaten in battle. If they die, they're dead, so they weren't really counted as beaten. If they win, then they win, and hurrah. And if they run away, it's only so they can come back and have another go later. So they can never actually lose in their own minds, even when they are clearly beaten. Same logic with trolls. Trolls can't be beaten.
But it's not going to stop you from trying to find something, isn't it?
I don't generally tend to talk about it. I'm more of a keep my cards close to my chest kind of guy.
Oh, maybe you'll get lucky one day, maybe. I'm not completely immune, but I'm not going to say what.
I don't know. I've learned from good business management that it's generally not a good idea to troll your boss.
Also, you're actually admitting that now.
Well, I'm not saying that I won't try anyway.
Damn it.
I'm just saying it's not a good idea.
Well, at least he's finally admitted from the start of the show that I'm the boss. Yay! Wait, since when am I the boss?
Well, I don't know. Now that I've got the strings firmly attached into various parts of your body, I can let you think you are whatever you want.
I was wondering why my hand was slapping myself in the face. Ow! Oh, enjoying... Ow, this too. Ow! Stop it!
Good times.
Ow!
Oh, don't worry. I won't make you do anything untoward with those hands.
Ooh, that feels good. Oh, I never knew you was that kind of man.
Please, we're straying into MA territory now.
I know, but everyone can see it's a joke. It's not real.
That's the thing. They can't see it. That's the whole problem.
Well, don't give them any more to imagine, please.
Yeah, I'm sure there's enough fan fiction already.
But, yeah, please don't forget, we really want some emails. So email us back your feedback. Why not?
Yep. Even if the email is only some really, really creepy piece of fan fiction you've written about me puppeteering Loopy into doing something untoward, just send us something. It's quite fun.
I told you not to give them any more ideas. You're fired.
Ah, such delicious ideas. Anyway. Awkward pause.
I was about to say awkward silence, the same thing. Anyway, this is Loopy Legend, the Master of Insanity, and his co-host.
This is his co-host, Dr. Wheatley.
And we'll see you next week.
Cheerio.
Did you hear the part about co-host, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Signing off. Bye-bye.